trying to hold on the boat and get in at the same time. Finally, I get in. He gets the motor started. We head in for the shore. Once we get away from the mouth of the bay there, it's fairly calm. Again, this is not my story yet, but I'm including these details. I started thinking, this could have been serious. In the Philippines, they don't carry things like life jackets and boats or anything. So
of course they don't.
I thought I needed to devise a plan in case anything really did happen with me in this boat while we're out here in the Philippines. So, anyway, turns out there was one other tourist staying here. It's the off-season, of course. Hardly anybody goes there this time of year because it's not good weather. One other tourist, a man from Belgium named Jean-Pierre, and he said,
French.
we waited several days. We go out there, and we waited so many days, I decided, well, my time's up. I don't really have time to go to El Nido. I'm just going to arrange for Danny to take me down to Puerto Princesa where I can catch my plane, and along the way stop at Sabang, a place where there's a famous underground river. It's supposed to be a real spectacular underground river. Goes through caves. I thought we'd go see that. Have to forget about El Nido. So Danny said, okay, I'll take you two guys down. Meet me at the beach in the morning at 6 o'clock. So we go to our Nipa huts, get our stuff all ready. Good morning, go out to the beach, meet Danny. We look out the bay there, at the opening of the bay, and look to the sky. It's completely black. Danny says, no, it's too dangerous. Let's try again tomorrow. Take ourselves back to the Nipa huts, sit around, grate some more IV papers. I don't know what Jean-Pierre was doing in his hut. 6 o'clock at the same time. Look out the mouth of the bay, completely black. Danny says, no, it's too dangerous. Well, we'll try tomorrow morning. Okay, so we'll try to go back, fool around for the day, get up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, same thing. Go to the beach, look out. It's completely black. And he says, I think it's okay. Well, he's the boatman. He should know. So we take off in the boat. As soon as we get to the mouth of the bay, it starts to get rough, white caps and stuff, but it's not that bad. And we stay, fairly close to the shore, heading south, and it's not too bad. It's a little rough. It seems like we could make it. It's going to be kind of slow going. We should make it. The shore does have a tendency to get seasick, get motion sickness, so he's kind of just hanging on to the banca here and
Throwing
kind
up.
of focus on the fixed land so he doesn't get too much motion sickness. And we're heading along pretty good, not too bad. But eventually, about halfway down the island, the motor starts to sputter. And it's not running well at all. And luckily enough, there's a real small bay there, but somewhat protected. And Danny pulled the boat into the real small bay to be out of the rougher seas. And took apart the carburetor. Cleaned out the carburetor, we were waiting around. And while I was cleaning the carburetor, we looked at the back of this little bay, and it's beautiful, a beautiful white crescent bay. Primitive fishing village, looks like in the background, a lot of small bunkers along the shore there. Eventually, Danny puts it back together and seems to be running okay. We head back out in the open seas again, and look, it's pretty rough. This actually is a little too far north there. It should be actually down about something like that. Because as we headed out, it wasn't too bad like before. And then we come to this little passage between a small island, just off the coast of the large island, where there's a resort. It's closed this time of year, but there's a resort on that island. And it's okay until we get right about there, just past the channel between the small island and the large island. Then suddenly gets really rough. Just giant waves. Just go along the prow, just being smashed into these waves. So now I'm thinking, well, this is going to take a really long time now. Then you have to cut the all the way down. But I'm still Still trying not to get seasick, still looking for land. Danny's in the back with the motor. He brought a friend along to help him, a boatman to help him. And I was sitting here, Jean-Pierre the Belgian was sitting behind me. I'm just concentrating, trying not to get seasick. Suddenly I see Jean-Pierre's hand fly up, and he yells, "There's a hole in the boat." So I look up and I'm thinking, oh great, you know, a hole in the boat, the bail out of the water, you have to turn around, it's going to take forever. I look to the front of the boat, there's a piece this big that's come off the hull. The ocean rushes into the boat, covers the engine, kills it, rises up to within about 6 inches of the bottom of the boat, and I had this very sick feeling in my chest. I knew exactly what was going to happen. The boat was going to sink. I was going to flounder around for a while. Eventually the water would fill my lungs. That would be it. But I did have a plan. Nobody else in the boat had a plan. Danny didn't have a plan. Danny said one thing. After the accident occurred, there he goes, he just jumps up and yells, "What kind of an accident is this?" I couldn't really answer that question. My plan was, I had a two-part plan. That morning when I dressed, I put on this bright red T-shirt I had. I thought, you know, if we get capsized somewhere like that, I should have a bright color on so we can be seen if anybody, you know, they send aerial planes out there to look for us or something. So I had this bright red T-shirt on. But my other part of the plan was if we sank, I was going to get my wetsuit out. My wetsuit, you know, it's buoyant. It's pretty buoyant. You get air trapped inside there. I'm an okay swimmer, but this is a long way where we're out here now. And I know that if I have my wetsuit on, I can float for a long time. And if I put my mask and snorkel on, part of the thing about swimming, I've had a few bad experiences long distance swimming. You panic after a while. You get tired, you panic, and then you start breathing wrong. That's when you get the water up your nostrils and so on. So if I had my mask on, my snorkel, I could just swim face down. I felt confident. So I got my backpack out, started putting my stuff on. The other guys aren't doing anything. Put my gloves on, my booties, my diving booties and everything. Had my snorkel on top, all ready to go, mask. And Danny saw what I was doing, and Danny said, "Sir, you should swim to this small island. There are caretakers at the resort, and they can help us." Well, this is not my plan. I really think you should split up when you have an emergency like this. You've seen those movies. Stay together and give a chance of helping each other. I didn't know what to do. So I turned on Al Jean-Pierre. "What do you think? You think I should swim over there?" My plan was just to sit it out. Maybe we would drift in, maybe a boat would come by, but if I actually had to swim, I had my wetsuit on, I was ready for it. But I didn't want to swim unless I had to. And John said, I think you should. The boat's sinking already. By this time, the top of the boat is virtually submerged under the water. Now these bamboo outriggers, they're actually hollow. I didn't realize that they're hollow and they contain air. So they allow it to float even when the boat is completely immersed in water, at least for a while. So he said, yeah, it's sinking already, so I guess he's right. I guess he's right. So I stood up, I felt really strange, you know, I felt like I'd been written into the script of a very bad movie. It's a typhoon season, I'm in a small boat about to jump into the South China Sea. So anyway, I jumped in, and I was in a little bit of a panic, of course, so I forgot to prepare my mask. You have to prepare your mask with either diver's drops or saliva so it doesn't fog up. So I forgot to do that, so initially I was all fogged up, but I was afraid to take it off and try and fix it because I might drop it and I lose my mask. So anyway, the waves are just up and down. You can't see the boat, I can't see anything. Luckily, this island had a sort of a peak on it, and I could see the peak, so I kept trying to swim for the peak. But the more I kept trying to swim for the peak, every time I'd look in, it seemed like I was swimming toward the mainland instead. Or sometimes I'd look up and I was headed straight out to sea. I couldn't tell where I was going. But eventually, I just kept trying to swim, and eventually I was zigzagging around, but eventually it seemed like I was still swimming back to the mainland instead of toward the island. So I thought, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I'm in a current. So, you know, my mind's kind of racing now. I'm kind of trying to make sure I'm thinking rationally. I think I might be in a current. I can't outswim a current. I should probably give up on the island thing and just swim to the mainland. But Danny said go to the island. He said go to the island. He's the guy. He knows what to do. So I kept trying to go to the island for a while. I just couldn't get there. Every time I looked up, I wasn't getting there. I just was getting closer to the mainland instead. So eventually I thought, well, forget it. I'm just going to go straight into the island. I started swimming straight in. And that worked out pretty well. I could tell I was making progress. So I started swimming. I was trying to just conserve, not go fast, conserve my arm strength, breathe. Had a long time to think, just total silence, gray skies, gray water. All I could hear is the sound of my breathing in the snorkel. Thinking about what would happen, you know. Would my wife and daughter ever, would anybody ever find me if something happened? Would they know? Would anybody know even to look for me or anything? What would they think? How would they ever learn about the event or anything like that? Why wasn't I nicer to my wife when I had the chance to be? Lots of things. But eventually, after a lot of swimming, I could see the shore coming up. And but when I got to the shore, kind of was inside of the shore, I could see the white water at least. I kept trying to swim in, and it seemed like I wasn't getting anywhere. I looked up, and I hadn't advanced at all. I looked up. I thought maybe I was in a riptide. And you're supposed to swim parallel to the beach to get out of the riptide. So I tried swimming parallel to the beach for a while, go in, parallel to the beach, go out, go in. That didn't seem to be helping either. So finally I just said, oh, that's not working. I'm just going to go straight in. And also I was wearing my diving fins, which are really big. They're not like little fins. They're really big. They don't work that well on the surface. They just kind of slap it a lot. So I thought, well, maybe I can turn over on my backside and backstroke, and I'll have the fin will be entirely under the water, and I'll get better strokes that way. So I tried that. That seemed to work. I could tell that was really working. And I was looking around the corner, and I said, yeah, I'm getting somewhere now. So I started going a little harder, and really felt like I was making progress. And I saw really getting close to the white water now. I could tell I was really making some progress. And my thighs are starting to burn, though. I thought, gee, I hope I didn't start this a little too early, and I burned out here already. So I started pumping away, so I said, it's now or never. I just got to get in there. I'll never get there. And just as I was looking around, a big wave caught me. I actually got into the surf. A big wave caught me, drove me right up to the edge of the shore, and I thought, wow, that's great. I could feel I stand on a big rock beneath my feet. I can't believe I made it. This is great. And I let my guard down for a moment, and then saw the big wave right on top of me, knocked the snorkel out of my mouth. I didn't have any breath in my lungs, and just submerged into this water. Finally get to the top. Another wave hits me. So I look around. I'm still all fucked up. I'm afraid to take my mask off. I'm looking all around. And it turns out the coast there is just a vertical granite wall. Vertical granite wall. I'm smashed up against this wall. I can't see any way around it. Can't really see anything with my mask all fogged up. But I saw this little sandbar to the right between these two rocks. I thought maybe I can get over there. But every time I tried to get over there, this waves would smash me into the wall again. And I look around. And I try to get my bearings. Smash me into the wall again. This goes on for a long time. Eventually, I make my way over to that bar, crawl out, and I made it. Look at my watch, still running. It's a cheap plastic watch, but still running. I've been swimming for about 2 hours. I don't know how far I was. I wasn't swimming fast, but it was about 2 hours I was in the water. And I thought, all right, this is great. So I got out and checked the terrain out. There's this vertical wall here, and there's a finger crack on it for a hand traverse possibly, but if I go that way and fall back in the surf, that might not be good. So I look at the other way, and there's a steep gully, mostly dirt, but very steep, plants and rocks embedded in the dirt. But it is climbable. I've got some climbing skills. So well,